Yes.
All right. Good evening, professional project managers, PMI current members and future members. Welcome to today's event, Fast Track Your PMO at PMI Cyprus chapter. We are pleased to be virtual guests in Cyprus. Actually, Cyprus is famous for its banking and financial sector, which is quite large and sophisticated. It consists of companies carrying out commercial banking, cooperative credit, accounting, capital markets, and insurance. This asset in the industry represents about 69% of the country's GDP. And behind all of it stands a proper project management. Actually, you will see that our speakers also are working in this sphere and industry. I'm Nadine, the event manager at PMO Global Institute, and I will moderate this event for today. So please switch on your cameras. We'd like to see your smiling faces. And actually, the PMI Cyprus team and precisely Xenia did a terrific preparatory work. And thanks to all of you for coming to this Thursday's evening event. I promise it will be valuable and joyful for you. At the end of the session, you will have the chance to win great prizes. So cheer up and stay tuned till the end. And first of all, warm welcome to the Vice President of PMI Cyprus chapter, Xenia Kyriakidou, who is a PMO manager at Encore Bank Limited and Vice President at PMO Cyprus chapter. Xenia, the floor is yours.
Hello. First, let me welcome everyone who are being here today, and of course, PMO Global Institute for organizing this event. First, I would like to take this opportunity and say a couple of words about PMI Institute and PMI Cyprus chapter, and what their role is for project management community and its members. PMI is the leading professional association for project management and the authority for a growing global community of millions of project professionals and individuals who use project management skills. Our aim as a local chapter here in Cyprus is to support the growth and development of project management practitioners in Cyprus. We are trying to build the awareness of the project management discipline and its critical role in the success of all types of organizations. Becoming a member of our chapter will give you, among others, the opportunity to participate in monthly webinars like today's event, and networking events, but also keep you updated with project developments, trends, tools, techniques. If I may mention that this year annual conference will take place in Nicosia, 18th of November. You have physical presence, so please feel free to join us and contact me or any other member of our chapter if you would like to take part in this network. So today we're going to talk about PMOs, how to fast track your PMO and its challenges, and of course, what is the role of PMO Global Institute. As project managers, we can understand the importance of having a PMO in the organization we work at. PMO help us to complete project in time, to create strategic impact and achieving our company's goals by optimizing project management processes and procedures, empowering the project teams, providing education and training where needed. But I think it's better to leave you, say the rest. You are experts in this field. So Nadine, thank you again for this event, and stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Xenia, for this great start. And now, dear professionals and leaders, let's dive into the greatest journey, the world of PMO and its opportunities. And now I will share my screen to roll through the first slides about PMO Global Institute introduction, our today's learning objectives and benefits that each of you will definitely get. All right. Now you can see my screen. So great. Let's have a look at our learning objectives. So today you will learn how PMO setup works. You will learn tools and techniques to apply CB-PMO framework. You will increase your visibility and become recognized within the organization and peer circle. You will make use of the best practices in PMO and increase the success rate of your projects. And you will earn 1.5 points PDUs. So, and just overall session benefits for the audience. So all participants will get for free the CB-PMO framework. You will get access to the largest PMO community. 5 lucky winners at the Kahoot game will get full year PMO Global Institute memberships, which actually cost $89, but you will get it for free, and you will get 10% discount on PMO GI PMO certification program. So here you can see the digital copy of the PMO guidebook, which will be the prize for winners. Let me introduce PMO Global Institute. So it's the global body for PMO certifications representing global project management offices, including project, program, and portfolio managers involved in defining, establishing, and running high-performing PMOs in and across industry sectors. Our objective is simple: to make PMO learning available to project professionals across the globe through certifications, events, networking, and hands-on knowledge sharing. We already have members in 100+ countries, and also we have 70+ partners in 60 countries. 46% of PMO directors said that their organization doesn't understand the value of project management. Also, 68% of stakeholders perceive their PMO as bureaucratic. And now it's time to speak about the challenges of PMO. And now I'd like to pass the floor to Dylan Martin, as the Community Engagement Manager of PMO Global Institute. He strives to develop and manage local PMO communities around the globe to make PMO learning available to project professionals. And now, Dylan, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Nadine. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Do you mind just confirming with me whether you can see my screen?
Yeah, it's loading. I think 1 second. And yeah, we can.
Okay, perfect. All right. So the first thing you see, right, is a staggering statistic over there on the top left of the screen, right? 75% of PMOs fail within the first 3 years. That's 3 out of 4 PMOs, right? Which is a shocking statistic. You know, and it's the reason why it's such a shocking statistic is because I like to think of PMO professionals and project professionals as change makers in the world, right? The world is changed via projects. And when you're dealing with 75% of PMO failures, often what you see is that the result is, or the consequences are project failures. And how are we going to create meaningful impact in the world when we're faced with these statistics? So, you know, before I jump into possible reasons of why we see such high PMO failures, I do want to just sort of deliver the point of why does that matter, right? And it matters because in a world where companies are dealing with increased competition and rapidly changing market dynamics and risks, projects are becoming more complex and teams increasingly strained. And PMOs help because they provide visibility and governance. But in order for PMOs to effectively sort of govern and operate in this space, there are certain challenges that need to be addressed. The first one is value. It's all about value, right? PMOs are often perceived as having very little or no value. So it's important that PMOs find ways to bring tangible and measurable value, right? And one way is through aligning that PMO strategy with business objectives, but also PMOs have to focus on outcomes rather than just outputs. Number 2, right? And this is often a reason to the first one, right? So a lack of perceived value in the PMO leads to a lack of senior sponsorship. And, you know, value is subjective. It lies in the eyes of the beholder. So understanding those sponsor expectations is important to delivering effective value. And then next, inexperienced PMOs, right? Also known as accidental PMOs. And what we mean by this accidental PMOs is, you might have a project management professional and they might be a great project manager. They might be the best project management professional in the world. But when you put that project management professional in a PMO space, it is a different role and they have to learn how to perform that role on the fly, right? You wouldn't put a nurse in a surgeon's position, or at least I wouldn't want that surgeon to operate on me. So why do we do this with the PMO role? And you can't, in today's complex and competitive society, you can't just be good. You have to be great and you have to make impact fast. Number 4 over there is, strategic vision not aligned to the organizational strategy. And PMOs are too busy to be strategic, right? So yes, it is true. Traditionally, PMOs did focus mostly on, tools, templates, processes. But now the role of PMOs have shifted, right? Now PMOs have evolved. They need to be strategic and they need to ensure that every project aligns with that larger business goal. So there's a very different role and responsibility that PMOs have now. And then number 5, again, the benefits must be tangible, right? They must be measurable and in line with those business and sponsors' expectations. Number 6, PMOs are seen as project police instead of strategic partners to achieve organizational strategic mission and vision. So by project police, you mean, often they're seen to be this surveillance power overwatching the rest of the project managers. And I think we need to move away from this understanding. They shouldn't be seen as the enemy of project managers, but rather as enablers there to remove obstacles and help achieve project delivery. It touches on this emotional intelligence in some way, right? Being able to work with the project managers and create that understanding. And then number 7, right? A low project success rate due to ill-fitting processes, bad tools, and Euro project managers. So, this also touches on that understanding of maturity levels of PMOs, right? So if you look at the PMO maturity levels globally, where 1 is at that infancy stage and 5 being that fully optimized stage, 88% of PMOs are actually less than that level 2 when doing their maturity assessment. And, then you have sort of those Euro PMOs. Those are those sort of project management professionals who kind of stick to their guns a bit. They're a little bit territorial in terms of the already established process. So it's important to get them to buy into that PMO vision, right? Otherwise, they could be a little bit resistant to change. And then we address the challenges. So, on a lighter note, let's talk about how PMOs benefit the organization. The first one there, top down, strategic alignment in the PMO with the business, right? And PMOs can be more effective in this when they are upgraded to that, or from that department level to that enterprise level, right? But also a very important part of PMOs is that they need strong leadership capabilities in order to implement this top-down alignment. Number 2, deliver value, consistency, and accuracy to organizations. We spoke about the importance of this already, but I think what's important to touch on is the ability to deliver quick wins, right? So sometimes it can take some time to deliver and demonstrate value. So it's very important to plan in some quick wins, to get that C-suite level buy-in. Number 3, decisions, right? Because PMOs have that visibility, they can better analyze risk and inform better decision-making. I like to think of the analogy of the sort of Titanic, right? So the Titanic was sort of sailing and it saw that iceberg and thought it could go through, because what it didn't see was that larger underlying glacier, right? It didn't see the bigger risk. And you've all seen the Titanic, so there's no need for me to tell you how that story ends. It has Leonardo DiCaprio in it, so watch it if you haven't. Then number 4, facilitates project completion, right? So, Nadine touched on that statistic already, where 68% perceive that PMO to be bureaucratic. But, the PMO is there to remove barriers and allocate resources effectively and aid that project completion. Number 5, training, mentoring, coaching, and knowledge sharing. You know, it's important for PMOs to log those best practices and ensure that rapid project delivery with skilled staff. Maybe it takes a bit of hand-holding. Number 6, I mean, there you have it again, right? Provides organizational standards, best practices, a central repository, and quality and efficiency, right? So ensuring that everyone is on the same page, right? Being that center of excellence is extremely important. And then we have number 7, you know, analyzing and importing organizational data. You know, this allows fluency from project initiation to project delivery, and projects or PMOs provide a certain level of governance and therefore control. And then finally, the last point, facilitate communications and the flow of information, right? So having a database of those risks and knowledge also enable knowledge transfer from projects to projects between different departments, as well as across all the stakeholders. So pure communication does lead to project failure, plain and simple. And as project managers, we spend up to 90% of our time communicating. And without effective communication, little progress can be made in those areas of collaboration, innovation, you know, taking initiative and helping one another. And yeah, these are the areas that, you know, in today's world, PMOs are expected to deliver upon. And if we want to address that 75% statistic, that horrible statistic of PMO failure, it's important that we address these challenges and also build PMOs that can effectively deliver on these expectations. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dylan. Thank you for elaborating on the reasons why do PMOs fail and how PMO actually benefits organizations. I'm sure it was very valuable for everyone. And now, dear participants, be careful, starting from the next one session. Please take notes, because at the end of the event, we will play a Kahoot game, which is made on the base of this content, and you will have the chance to win one of 5 full-year PMO Global Institute memberships. So be focused and take notes. Now we are going to hand over to Victor Levitsky. Victor is the head of digital banking and innovation leader in the financial and payment services industry, leverages 18+ years program and project management experience, academic excellence, and innovative vision to lead strategic and technical project initiatives from end to end and deliver complex multi-million-dollar programs. Victor is instrumental in designing and successfully implementing project management offices, enabling organizations to achieve its strategic goals and delivering value to its customers. Victor believes that in today's fast-moving environment, you constantly need to enhance your professional knowledge and adapt it to organizational challenges and opportunities to succeed. Now, Victor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you for such a great introduction. Hi, everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces here, and that's why I like Cyprus. Whenever you go, you see someone that you know, like either personally or through your friends. So hi, everyone. Let me share my screen, and we will start. Just a moment. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so today's our session is how to fast track your PMO. And I'm very grateful to PMI Cyprus chapter to have all of us from PMO Global Institute to share our knowledge, to share our experience, to tell you that in the world of project management, there are also some kind of new things, some kind of things that will help you not only succeed as a project managers, not only succeed as, let's say, guiding and managing some kind of initiatives that you are working on, but also to create some complex view on the projects of the whole organization and to deliver the highest possible results. So here is the agenda of our today's presentation. I will try to make it as interactive as possible. So please warm up your fingers. You will need to use the chat actively. You will need to type some answers on the questions. We will analyze them. We will try to come up together with some of the key challenges, key pain points, definitions of what do you think PMO is like, what are the challenges and how we can improve it, let's say, all together. Okay, so we will start with a short introduction where all of us get an idea of how you are involved currently with your current capacity and current role in the PMO and its activities. Then we will try together to come up with the definition of what is PMO, what actually it means, and what value can be delivered through it. Then we will slightly change our focus and try to see the PMO from different perspective. And we in the PMO Global Institute call it PMO approach. Then, you know, like PMO is initiative, and like in any operational or project activities, you need to KPIs in order to measure the success or failure. So PMO is not an exception. So we will talk about PMO KPIs. There will be some interaction, and you will, based on your experience and based on like what do you see in your current professional life, we will try to come up with the main KPIs that will help us to actually see the value of the PMO. Of course, standards, we have it in PMO Global Institute as well. So we have like a book, which actually serve as a guidebook and the standard for project management offices. We will talk about this as well. And the main and the core topic of our today's discussion is CB-PMO Framework. So this framework is basically guiding. I will try to give you a bird's eye view because it's logical, it's very like comprehensive, but anyway, we have just 30 minutes and I will try to guide you with this bird's eye view on what it means, like from what layers it consists and how these layers interact with each other and what benefits and what key components are in each layer. As a conclusion, we will sum up what we basically discussed, like we will share some of the ideas. You will have time. I hope you will have time, but I think we'll make it possible anyway to ask your questions. And then we will come up with the next steps or like how to continue this, let's say, knowledge sharing that we are starting today and we can continue it further. Okay, next slide. So basically, I was introduced by Nadine. There is no much value in, let's say, do it again. Let's go next. So, as I discussed, we need to be interactive as much as possible. So please use the chat and type the answer on the first question. Are you currently, in your capacity, part of the PMO? Yes, no, or plus, minus, whatever suits you better. Okay, I see you are quite active. Yes, no, 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 yes, okay. Andy is part of PMO, is that great? Tassis as well. Yes, no. Okay, so I see that basically we have not half-half, but majority of the people are not part of the PMO, but I think they're somehow involved in project management activities. So I will use this information just maybe to emphasize on some definitions and some concept of the PMO in more details, just to give everyone the same understanding of what are we talking about. Okay, the next question. Just a moment. Okay, for those who answered yes, and for those who are not participating in PMO, please define the role that you currently have, either inside PMO or like somewhere near PMO if your organization for some reason doesn't have this PMO structure. Okay, PMO manager, program project manager, Kostas, Stefanos project manager, Achilles project manager, great. Product manager, that's great, India. Project program manager, Alexandras, excellent. So it's great to see that basically we have a product manager that is part of the PMO as well, because like the product is slightly different than project, but it also focuses on delivering new things and actually managing of them. Alexandras, you want to add something? Okay, so I see the majority of our audience is either project or program manager, and we have also a PMO manager. Ksenia, I believe it's you, and someone else as well. Okay, great. So it's good to know that you are familiar with the majority of the concepts, and let's go to our next slide. So again, let's try to come up with the idea of what do you think PMO is? And I don't need your, let's say, answers in the chat that it's either project management office, it's like program management office or portfolio management office. So please try to come up with your definition, maybe in 1 or 2 words, just what comes to your mind when you see PMO? Project managers, police. Okay, great, Marius. Project management governance, coordination, project control center. Wow, Alex. Guidance from Kostas, quality assurance across projects. Very good, Achilles. Communication, Karin, yes, you know the topic. Processing guidance from Ramsey. Value maximizer, very good, Andy. You see, you are product manager, so you know the key things. BU for PMs. BU tasks, you mean like business unit or like what is it? Okay. Petras, task management. Okay, great. Kostas, internal department that defines and maintains project management standards across the organization. Very good, Kostas. Very good. Okay, I think you're all right. Even when you state that it's just a police, that is just some bureaucratic, let's say, unit, it exactly reflects why, and basically, as Dylan introduced before, why PMO failed in your organization and why you perceive it like police. I see a lot of good answers, and let's see what PMO Global Institute defines as a PMO. So let me read it. A project management office is a group consisting of internal and external entities which defines, maintains, and ensures standards for project management to deliver strategic initiatives. What do you see here? So, reading this definition, there are several key points. So, the main goal of PMO is to deliver strategic initiatives. And how it delivers? Via developing and maintaining standards for project management. In other words, PMO is focusing on the strategy execution, on delivering value to the business via a portfolio of projects aimed to align with organizational priorities. So what we are doing? We have the strategy and we are implementing the strategy through project management office. So this is important to understand and to note. As we discussed basically as Dylan presented, there are a lot of failures of PMO. Actually, it accounts like more than 75%. But what do we mean by failure? So how you define if your PMO is good or it's failed or it's not so good? I mean, what is how we will defining the value that PMO can bring to your organization? According to this definition, there is very clear path. If your PMO is aligned with your strategy and delivering the strategy, it means it's valuable. If not, or if it fails to deliver some part of the strategy, then we have a problem that we need to address, exactly what Dylan mentioned before. Okay, so this is a general definition of PMO that we are using in the Institute. Let's go to the next. And one of the important things is the approach. So how else can we define the acronym PMO, emphasizing an approach of the Institute that we have? So first, P, what do you think P can stand for if we are talking about approach? Please use your chat. One more time, we are talking about approach. We're not talking about, let's say, some technical things, just approach. Okay, let me help you. No, I see one answer. Okay. People, very good. Very good, das ist plan. Not exactly, yes, but close to. Anyone else? Remote. Wow. Very good. Okay, let me share what we have in the PMO Global Institute. Oh, we have two more options. Personal procedures. Yes, nice as well. But what we see as the first P is purpose. Needless to say that if PMO is developed or run without clear purpose, vision, and mission of the PMO, and don't address the question of why it exists, then it will be perceived in the organization only as bureaucratic or, as was said before, as a police, demanding some documents, some forms, some strange procedures that basically just take your time out of actually working on the project itself. So without purpose, without clear answer on why it exists, there will be no engagement and no buy-in from any stakeholders. Inside PMO, outside PMO, no buy-in. So you need to clearly define the purpose of why your PMO or the PMO you part in exists. The next letter that we have is M. So what do you think M can stand for if the P is purpose? Okay, I see answers. Motivation. Good. Good, Marinos. Anyone else? Methodology, method. Oh, close. Mission. Very nice. Measurements. Almost. Manage. Methodology. Yes, very good answers. So we have as M measure. So exactly like some of our participants mentioned, measure. So what measure means? As you know, the famous quote of what gets managed gets, what gets measured gets managed. So if you cannot measure the value of the PMO, you don't understand whether it brings the value or not, whether you should have it in an organization or not. So how much value it brings, this is what differentiates a good PMO from, let's say, not so good PMO. The measure of the value it brings to an organization, what we need to focus. We will see on our next slides how to measure this value and how basically to, if you have already PMO, how to show the stakeholders, the sponsors, and the executives that your PMO is really valuable. Okay, we have the last letter. This is O. So regarding O, outcomes, very good. Anyone else? Organize. Organize. Organizational. Objectives. Excellent. Objectives. Yeah, I see a lot of common answers. Okay, so we define O as optimize. So why optimize? In other words, optimize means continuous improvement. It's search for excellence. You cannot build PMO and just be happy that everything will go smoothly after that. Every day or every quarter or whatever cadence you will have, you need to see what to tune, what to enhance, what is needed, what is not needed. So you're in the constant search of excellence. You need to optimize your PMO, and there is no end point. So you cannot tell that this is the end of the game. No, the end of the game when PMO will be dismissed. This is the end. But once PMO is an organization, it always needs to be optimized and always need to be improved. Okay. So we discussed on our slide the M letter of our PMO approach, and basically it's measure. So how we can measure PMO, if it's valuable, not valuable. What do you think? What should be PMO's KPIs? So what should be inside of the PMO, or what should be developed and tracked and continuously monitored in order to understand if the PMO is valuable, if it's not valuable, or what needs to be improved. So based on your experience, based on your knowledge, please type, what do you think PMO KPIs can be? I will give you 3 minutes because you need to type maybe more than a couple of words. Even if you are not part of PMO, but like what we discussed before, you see what value it brings to an organization. Think about how we can basically see the value. Okay, I see the answers from Stefanos. Budget, time, savings. Great. Project success. Very good, Stefanos. Alex, project resources used before and after PMO is set up. Interesting. Benefit realization, Costas. Great. Roy, Nadine. Roy, break even. Yes, so we are talking about financial part. Percentage of the projects delivered, strategic OKRs achieved, value delivered. Yes, Andy, you're a real product manager. Okay, any other? Risk management. Very good, Petras. So we will try to manage risk more appropriate and more effective when we establish PMO. Okay, who else want to try? Cost efficiencies or saving, lessons learned, satisfaction to delivered. Very good. Phases delivered on time, revenue targets. Achilles, very good. Yes. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. I think you're all right, because you understand that it's all about value and how the value can be transformed into what PMO is doing. I will share now some common KPIs that we think, basically some of them you already repeated. So this is in very brief. First of all, improve project completion. So it's obvious, like PMO is established to deliver strategy, and strategy is delivered to projects. So as many projects as PMO will deliver as it close to realization of the strategy and bringing the value to the businesses. The next important KPI is improved predictions. So once you have like all the projects, they are running on pretty much the same methodologies and they are following the same processes and sharing the same resources, you start to realize and you start to predict more, like what can be the risks as we just discussed can be in these projects, what can be, let's say, benefits, what can be finance utilization. The next, one of the important things improves stakeholder satisfaction. So, you know, even if we deliver the project on time, on budget, but we will not satisfy the key stakeholders, it will fail in their eyes. So it's very important from the beginning to set the expectations and constantly manage the expectations of stakeholders, what they perceive as success, what they not perceive as success, and align this into our project management office work. Then next important that we discussed is prioritize project to improved ROI. So why we establish projects just to bring, for example, for business projects to improve the revenue, to improve like the investment, what we invest and what we basically deliver. Faster time to market, very important, especially now. You know, like the technology is driving like this pace. There are a lot of startups. There are a lot of, let's say, new things, new ideas, and how fast it gets to the market, the faster, the more revenue potentially, if it's done right, it can get. Improve resource management. It was also mentioned in the chat. So basically, if we have a more or less same pool of resources, if we are managing this pool on the level of PMO, it will show us like what resources are overloaded, what resources can improve in their capacity, and we can reallocate the resources accordingly. Improve process management, very important. So if, for example, I'm working in the bank, and in the bank, even it's the standard, you need to follow the processes and procedure. So the more efficient processes and procedure PMO will develop for project management, the more improved will be results of these processes. And of course, finances, you know, it's all about money, it's cost savings, it's more revenue, it's optimization of budgets. And without, let's say, these key measurement, we cannot really define whether PMO is successful or not. So these are just the common PMO KPIs. Of course, for your particular PMO, you can have some others, or you can utilize some of these. But what is important here that you constantly need to measure the value. If you are not measuring the value, then you are not managing your PMO. Next slide. Okay, so here you see like PMO guidebook. I am sure that a lot of you are familiar with the PMBOK, with some other PMI standards. So it's like a big fat book with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of templates, with a lot of documents and guidances that you have for project management. We have not so fat, but in terms of the content is also very rich, PMO guidebook. So it actually the result of research, the result of involvement of the big community of PMO managers and PMO participants that I hope you will be also part of it after the session. And this community is developing the standards. So here will be like the guidance on how is better to establish PMO, how is better to manage PMO, how is better to have the success, and how to deliver the value of PMO for your organization. This is one of, let's say, the benefits that at the end of the session you will be able to have, if you will participate and you will win, you will be able to have it for your reference and for your studies as well. So, what's important to mention, this PMO guidebook is very logical, and it's you will not find let's say some inconsistency. So while you read like the steps and key components, you understand like why this component comes first, why these components can come after this, and instead of let's say some pieces of the picture, you will see it in the whole. Okay, next one. So PMO guidebook is actually based on CB-PMO framework. So before we are going to let's say this framework in detail and define the different levels and key components that it has, I would like to ask you a question. What is a framework? Like in general, what is a framework for you? So when you see, for example, like in project management or in product management, like Scrum framework, what it means? Set of processes. Yes, Panayota, can be. Rules. Yes, Stefanos. Specific way to do things. Yes, Marinas. It can be as well. Set of libraries. Guide. Tools, guides, procedural flow, defining of way of working. Very good. So just to give you an idea of how I perceive the framework is imagine like skeleton. It's a very good example. So skeleton is not a human, but it represents a foundation upon which the structure of human can be built. A framework consists of governance that defines the methodologies to be followed, policies and templates to be used for guidance. So you are all right with your answers in the chat. It's not so prescriptive as, for example, methodology, and doesn't give you the exact detailed process to be followed, but more emphasizing on key points of components that you need to consider in order to achieve the success with your PMO. So how you implement these key components is something that should be tailored to your particular case. So it gives much more flexibility in terms of implementation. So I hope that this is clear and we can go to CB-PMO framework. So we have our own framework that consists of several layers, including foundation layer, executable layer, supporting, and leadership. Oh, sorry. Yes, leadership. The foundation layer, the first one, consists of business objectives and address why organization need a PMO. These business objectives are later converted into executable PMO strategies. So you see now the slide with a lot of rectangles and with a lot of information on it. So this is like a CB-PMO framework in the nutshell. It's 26 key components of all these 4 layers that we just discussed. So let's go deeper into each of these layers. First is the foundation one. So for the foundation, you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 key components. So PMO should always align with the business case, goals, and strategies. This is very important. So if your PMO is not aligned with your business, it's useless. The foundation layer addresses the current condition of the PMO and develops the roadmap to achieve the ultimate goal. So first of all, you need to understand the objectives, then you need to understand the strategy, and after that, you need to have a self-check. So this is the assessment of the current status of your PMO. Based on this health check, you might either go deeper and perform a PMO maturity assessment. We have a methodology on how to define at what level your PMO is, and we have 5 different levels that PMO can potentially be. And with this methodology, we can assess on what particular level you are, just to understand how to improve and how to go to the next level. After this assessment, of course, it's important to define PMO functions. What functions your PMO should deliver, what capabilities, what services. And then based on all this information, you need to develop the roadmap. So the roadmap is from where you go and what you want to achieve, what elements and what key, it can be called projects as well, you need to accomplish in order to be in your, let's say, final state. And as the end of foundation layer, we have a PMO charter. So it's almost the same that you have in the project. So it's the document that can be treated as a contract between the organization and the PMO. PMO charter contains the list of services that we defined before, that PMO will bring to organization, and also supporting commitments from the organization in terms of funding, in terms of resources, and in terms of sponsorship. You know, without all these resources, even if you will do the great work, the PMO will not fly, unfortunately. The next layer is actually when all the work is happening. So after you define the roadmap, you have the clear way on how you need to proceed to achieve, let's say, this gap that you defined during health check or PMO maturity assessment of where you are and where you want to be. So what does it mean to basically execute in this layer? We need, of course, to develop policies and procedures. So you're right, but it can be seen as bureaucratic, but without policies, procedures, and proper governance, the PMO will not work as well. So we need to be very, very clear on the project management policies and procedure, on the governance itself. So who need to take the decision, who need to be involved. So all this is happening in this execution layer. After you will define the policies and procedures and you have this roadmap which shows you where to go, we in PMO Global Institute advising that before going into full-scale launch of your PMO, you need to focus on some particular, let's say, proof of concept. So you need to take like the small part of your roadmap and just to test whether it's like fit for your organization, whether not. You can define like components where you want to test. And in this POC process, you will actually try to develop part of the PMO and define whether it works for you and or not. But how you will do, how you will know whether it's working or not. Of course, as we discussed, you need to establish PMO KPIs. So you need to be very clear on what you will measure, how you will track this performance. And without this, you will not understand whether you are succeeding or not. Of course, in this execution layer, one of the important components is to define and develop the competences of PMO. You may start as a project manager that is just put, if you're a good project manager, for example, and you're delivering constantly like projects on budget, on time, everyone is happy, and someday management decides, okay, you're the right candidate to establish and run the PMO. But it's a little bit different, let's say, topic. So you need to develop a little bit different competencies, and you need to be very clear on what roles you as a PMO manager will need to take, and the other supporting roles, what you will need in the PMO. Of course, ROI, as we discussed, very important to see that the investment are actually giving the benefits and revenue that they intend to give. We are taking the performance, and don't forget on continuous improvement. It's important. We never stop. We are doing these health checks, PMO assessments. We define where to go. We are developing new roadmaps. We are developing new chapters, and we are going forward. So this is what I can say for execution layer. For supporting, it's basically all the elements that support your execution, your foundation, and will help you to achieve your ultimate goals of PMO. So here we have team structure of PMO that focuses on team skills and competency assessments. We use the tools of digital PMO, so it means digital PMO. It not focuses on, for example, like digital products or projects. It focuses on gathering the information about how your projects are basically going and showing it in the real time via like dashboards or reports, so everyone can see like whether are we on track or not and what to do with it. So it's all about let's say digital information exchange. Then we need to ensure, of course, the need of stakeholders, that they are properly established, that they are managed, that we have a full visibility of like what PMO is doing and full transparency. We need to address the stakeholders with the proper stakeholder management, and for each of the stakeholder, we need to understand their involvement, their power, and how we will involve them and how we will keep them informed on the progress of our PMO. We have a list of methods and artifacts that will support the foundation and execution processes to maintain the standards of PMO. Overall structure of the PMO can be based on any methodology, and we are here flexible to use agile approaches. We can use hybrid, we can use waterfall, whatever suits your projects, and even, let's say, at the same PMO, we can use a mix of these approaches. But what's important, for every approach, we need to establish methodology on how we do these type of projects in our organization. The next and I would say the most important thing is like the glue that sticks all other layers together and boosts the efficiency of their functions and activities. It's PMO leadership layer. Without focused PMO leadership, a PMO can struggle with its identity, its role in organization, and it's very important to set the expectation from the PMO leadership group and get the executive sponsorship throughout the whole life of our PMO. So if we don't have the support, if we don't have a clear support of our sponsor, and if we don't have a defined sponsor for PMO, because sometimes we have PMO like hanging somewhere in the organizational structure without proper link to the person, to executive who need to be the driver, the champion of the success of this PMO. Without this, the PMO cannot, unfortunately, achieve any results. Of course, I'm sure you're all familiar with the concept of emotional intelligence, and we in PMO Global Institute think that it will need to give a special emphasis, because as you know from your project management experience, 90% of your time you're communicating with your teams, with your management, with external vendors, or with the government or whatever stakeholder you have. So the better you communicate, the better results you will get. And how to communicate better is, of course, to use emotional intelligence, just to see like what your counterparty or like your teammate is like worrying about. So maybe it's a good time for some activities, maybe not. How you can help the team to perform better. So you need to understand the temperature of your stakeholders in order to better match and better create the efficiency. Because you know, like with emotional intelligence, you can achieve like not only like twice efficiency or like 3 times, you can achieve like 10 times efficiency if all your team understand that you are not focusing only on some work activities, that you value them as personalities, as part of your team, and they support you as a PMO manager or part of the PMO need to give to the team for sure. Okay, so this was the 4 layers that I wanted to discuss with you, and it actually creates the CB-PMO framework. I know that there are a lot of information, and most probably it would be hard to digest from the beginning, but but I am sure that this is just the beginning of your journey, of our mutual journey, and what you can do if you want to basically achieve like new career prospects and work not only as a project or program manager, but to see like a wider picture. When you want to basically make the impact in your organization, not only by your perfect project management skills or program management skills, it's a very good way to go. So please join to us to be PMO Global Institute. Here you will see the website. I'm sure that it will be repeated today a couple of times. We have a lot of resources, a lot of documents, templates, guides that are ready to be made, that you can take them and try to adapt and use and do this proof of concepts and adapt it, and whether they're working, not working. So everything is there. We have also PMO software that can help you to manage the project consultancy services, and of course the training. So what we have done today is just an introduction of what PMO Global Institute researched and what, let's say, capabilities and possibilities it has for CB-PMO Framework and other materials. But if you want to really go dive into PMO and you really want this beautiful badge of certified baseline PMO consultant that I recently obtained, please join us. We have the trainings. I think we will start the first training in November or December, and I will be happy to see you there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you for your time. Yes, this is just the QR code for my LinkedIn profile. So let's share the experience, let's connect, and let's make the world of PMO better.
Thank you so much for this valuable session. And now I'd like to pass the floor to the Vice President of Global Partnerships at PMO Global Institute, Corinne O'Brien, to speak on the topic career in PMO. Corinne is the Vice President of Partnerships for Europe and Latin America at PMO Global Institute. She's responsible for promoting PMO learning through collaboration and the partnership program. Corinne has a deep understanding of the diversity of project management, gaining cross-cultural expertise from operating in 6 countries across 3 continents over the past 16 years. By sharing the knowledge of PMO Global Institute's CB-PMO Framework and Guidebook, Corinne strives to change the fabric of PMOs across continents by ensuring PMOs are not simply performing, but succeeding, thriving, and speaking the same global language. Corinne, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Victor. That presentation was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant, fantastic. So thank you all for coming this evening, giving up your spare time to be with us. We do really appreciate it. Before I talk a little bit about how your career in PMOs can be supported, would it be possible, please, just for a second, to turn on your camera? Just for 1 second. I'm just going to take one quick photograph so that we can pop it on LinkedIn and show the world, the project managers of Cyprus. Thank you, Marinos. Fantastic. Andy, Dragana, you're here. Gregor, thank you. Yes.
Nice.
Fantastic, Kostas. Yes, this is it. I know it's in the evening and we're all feeling tired, but you're brilliant. Okay, so after 3, a big cheesy smile. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Oh, Stefanos is here now. One more time. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. So yes, my section is all about careers in PMOs. So let me tell you a little bit about why we established PMO Global Institute and kind of a little bit of background of where it came from. So we basically started a huge research project around 5 years ago. So it started in 2017, where we interviewed over 10,000 project managers in 150 countries. Some of the feedback that we got regarding the PMO space was very negative, all over the place. And we basically created this guidebook, framework, certification to kind of create a global standard and to fill that gap of knowledge within the PMO space. So there's many different roles that you can take within a PMO. Let me just share my screen with you quickly. So initially, you know, we can have these kinds of roles. So you might just initially start as a member of staff within a PMO. And this comes from lots of different departments, not just project managers. We also have trainers and coaches. Our dear business partner here tonight with us, Victor, is an authorized instructor for the CB-PMO certification. And of course, to get this knowledge out, we need as many qualified and fantastic trainers as possible within the PMO space, because they just don't exist at the moment. So this is another role within the PMO world. We have PMO officers, managers, directors, and of course, those PMO sponsors that we need to satisfy as quickly as possible. So here's a few roles that you could take within your next career. So there are 3 ways that PMO Global Institute is here to support you as a PMO. The first way, Nadine, please, if you could share the free membership link in the chat box. Thank you. So if everybody can take just a second, please, to click this link and to register as an associate member of PMO Global Institute. This is free, completely free. When you do this, you will be part of our newsletter, which is an amazing newsletter taking stories, success stories, lessons learned, statistics from all over the globe. So please sign up for free. And here you can actually download your own version of the CB-PMO framework too. So that's a nice little reference to have. The next step at the end of this event, we're going to have a little contest. So I hope you've all been listening intently to Victor and taking lots of notes. The top 5 people in the contest will win the regular membership. And with this, you can download your own version of this. So it is our PMO guidebook. As Victor stated, it is an amazing reference and guide that you can carry on going back to throughout your career in the PMO. It also consists of templates, checklists, policies, very, very practical tools. So please go for that quiz at the end of this event and win your own copy. So please become a member. Okay, the next way that we can help you and support you in your career is, of course, to go through the certification. So the course is 21 hours long and it will go through the guidebook in detail. We have fantastic training materials. It's very, very interactive. It's definitely not a boring course. There's over 20 assignments in there too. So if you'd like to become a CB-PMO consultant, you can, of course, take Victor's course. Please contact him on LinkedIn. Victor, your next course is November, planned for November this year?
Yes, I'm aiming for November.
Fantastic, fantastic, excellent. So of course, this will guide you how to be a consultant. So how to implement that framework within your own organization. So this is the second way. The third and last way is to become a business partner of PMO Global Institute. When you become a partner with us, it qualifies you to become an authorized instructor for the CB-PMO certification. If you have a little bit of a love for training, if you really do have that passion and you want to help people to grow within your community and globally, then absolutely becoming an authorized instructor for the CB-PMO certification is one way that you can do that. When you become a business partner with us, we support you not only as a trainer, but also to go down that path of being an independent PMO consultant. So, of course, we will invite you to be a speaker, as our dear Victor has been tonight. So if you feel that you're drawn and you have that entrepreneurial mindset, please contact us to be a PMO Global Institute business partner. I'm so looking forward to the quiz. Good luck to everybody, those 5 lucky winners who will win the guidebook. Thank you, Nadine. Back to you.
Great. Thank you, Corinne, for letting dozens of our attendees to know about these big opportunities in their careers. So